Remember Duff Goldman from Ace of Cakes, the show that inspired you to get in the kitchen and try your hand at some serious dessert decoration? Goldman headed up the show for an impressive 10 years, but he definitely didn't retire from the business once it came to an end. So what's he been up to since? Here's how he's been getting baked these days.
My name is Duff, and I'm here to say that I make cakes that'll make your day.
Ace of Cakes' next adventure. When Ace of Cakes first started, it was one of a kind.
Make it bigger, make it badder, make it awesome. For me, it's all about the cake.
But by the time it was canceled, there were a ton of other copycat cake-themed shows on the air. Goldman told the LA Times that was one of the reasons he wanted to do something different for his follow-up venture with Food Network. He said, "The concept is not genius. I ride around the country, show up on a motorcycle, and eat dessert. What's new is how you present it. I'm a dude on a bike who likes chocolate and custard." Sugar High crashed after only 6 episodes, but it wasn't long before Goldman was on to the next thing. Copycakes. Donald Trump's presidential inauguration sent U.S. politics into a collective tailspin, but Goldman had a grievance of his own. A few years earlier, Goldman's Baltimore-based Charm City Cakes had been tasked with creating President Barack Obama's 2013 inaugural celebration cake.
So, you get the call from the White House that all of a sudden they've got a big party that's going to happen, they might need a cake.
Yeah.
But Trump's cake, 4 years later, looked suspiciously familiar. Goldman posted a side-by-side comparison on Twitter, noting he definitely hadn't made Trump's cake. It turns out that Trump cake maker, Buttercream Bake Shop, said they had been asked specifically to replicate Goldman's cake. And they did. So much for cake copyright. In it for the dough. During his time at the Culinary Institute of America in California, Goldman was also working at a local bakery that would produce thousands of baguettes and rolls every single day. He told the LA Times, "It was zen-like. I was there all night by myself, but here was this visceral satisfaction at the end of each shift just looking at all the bread on the racks. It's that love he's gone back to, perfecting his own recipe for focaccia, and more for his 2015 cookbook, Duff Bakes.
It's everything. It's like cookies, pies, muffins, scones, like everything, not just cakes.
Bread might seem like a departure for someone who made his name by making some of the most mind-blowing cakes ever seen on Food Network, but Goldman clearly has a soft spot for this kind of dough. He says, "If I could stop doing cakes and make bread and still have the lifestyle I have, I would." A motorcycle accident. Anyone who follows Goldman knows he's a huge fan of motorcycles.
Look at me. I look like a bouncer. You know, it's like there's nothing about me that's this cake decorator except for the whisk that's tattooed on my arm, right?
But in 2012, he was involved in an accident where he lost a few of his toes. He told Us Weekly that even though he promised he wouldn't ride anymore, it was a promise he couldn't keep. He told the mag, "It just made me make the choice, more consciously, to say I'm doing something that is very dangerous, but it's something I love." Going Hollywood. After Ace of Cakes made his bakery the go-to place for cakes on the East Coast, Goldman headed west. Duff's Cake Mix opened on LA's Melrose Avenue in 2012. And while you can definitely order a cake from him, you can also decorate one yourself at the shop. Feeling the music. In 2015, LA Magazine ran an intro piece on one of the city's newest rock bands, Fwog Rock. Not surprisingly, it's made up almost entirely of chefs, with Goldman on bass. They say it all started when Goldman was at an event with Need & Co. pasta bar chef Bruce Kalman. Someone made the offhand comment they looked like they were in a band, and it wasn't long before they were, along with a few other recruits. Back on the small screen. In 2015, Goldman returned to Food Network's lineup, but not to bake. Instead, he was co-judging on Kids Baking Championship. Goldman says he's been consistently amazed by the competition's young bakers, telling Food Network Dish, "It wasn't just good for kids, it was good, period. These kids were better at 11 and 12 years old than I was when I graduated culinary school." Speaking out. In 2017, Goldman wrote a piece for People, weighing in on a controversial case that was heading to the Supreme Court. It started when Masterpiece Cake Shop claimed they were well within their rights to refuse to bake a cake for a same-sex wedding because of their religious views. Goldman didn't agree, writing, "I'm supporting a same-sex couple in Colorado in their lawsuit against a local business owner who refused to sell them wedding cake. Lower courts repeatedly agreed that refusing service amounted to nothing more than discrimination, and I definitely agree." Goldman went on to say the issue was a slippery slope with the potential to open the door to further discrimination. Dropping those pounds. It's impossible to watch any cooking show without wondering how anyone manages to stay healthy, and that goes double for shows revolving around dessert.
This is the greatest thing ever invented.
But in August 2017, Goldman took to social media to show off his impressive weight loss, saying he went old school, focusing on eating right, lifting weights, and riding his motorcycle, while piling his plate with veggies and low-fat protein. He told Men's Health that getting to the point where he needs new clothes is one of the best feelings he's experienced.
Eat that donut. You want that donut? Eat it. Don't eat 3. And try to keep it down to 1 a week.
Thanks for watching. Click the mashed icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus, check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.